Cincinnati's police chief says a reckless driver of the stolen car is to blame for the traffic deaths of 2 people, not his officers involved in a chase.
Chief Tom Stryker says his officers went by the book in their pursuit of that suspect. 9 News reporter Tom McKee live with the reason behind the chief's statement. Tom?
Well, Clyde, of course, this stems from a pursuit that began in Mount Auburn and ended here at 8th and Sycamore Streets downtown with a violent crash that killed a cab driver and his blind passenger. Chief Stryker said the suspect had plenty of chances to stop and avoid this tragedy, but chose a very, very different path. Now, when Officer Mark McChristen stopped the SUV being driven by Mark Girth and learned it was stolen, he attempted a traffic stop shortly after midnight, but Girth decided to flee instead. Cincinnati police procedure requires officers to operate at reasonable speeds and stop at all stop signs and traffic signals in a pursuit. And despite the horrific crash downtown that ended this pursuit, Chief Tom Stryker says his officers did everything that they were trained to do.
The videos that I saw indicates to me that our officers were operating in accord with our policies and with our procedures, and that this is a pursuit that unfortunately has ended with very, very tragic consequences.
Now, the victims were the driver of this taxi cab, Mohammed Sadi, and his passenger, Tanya Hairston, who was blind and was thrown from the vehicle. Girth is charged with 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide and 1 count of aggravated vehicular assault. And Clyde, there is talk about perhaps bumping these charges up a notch to felony homicide. With a conviction of that could be a life term in prison for Girth.